Hello, welcome or welcome back to Sapling Tarot. My name is Imogen. I'm going to be completely honest with you, I'm having a bit of a week. So here we are, and we're doing a VR to one of Lennon Smith's recent videos. This is going to be a quickfire, no notes, just vibes video of things to live for in the tarot, or reasons to stay alive, or, you know, just good things and nice associations. And yeah, I've realised recently that, and I've mentioned this in some previous videos, that I can sometimes be a little bit of a skeptic and a cynic, and usually I kind of keep that pretty balanced. In my opinion, but like recently I've noticed myself becoming so like self-deprecating, basically to the point of being a knob. I don't know why. I feel like I have something to prove, or something like I have to set myself apart from the community that I love so much. And like, tarot has done so much for me in my life, and I love it so much, and I think it's really useful and really valuable and something that everyone could benefit from, which is why I, do it semi-professionally. Tarot and all of the other kind of things that go along with it have been an absolute life raft for me, more times than I can count. And so I don't know why I feel the urge in my kind of IRL offline life to dismiss it or water it down, and I think it's like a hangover from my upbringing and societal narratives about kind of woo and all of that kind of stuff. But I sound like a dick and I'm annoying myself. So I'm here to find 78 reasons to shake it off and to express the joy and the love that I have for tarot. So here we have a classic Smith-Waite tarot deck with all your classic recognisable imagery. I'm going to lean all the way in to the woo, and it's just a shuffled deck. We're going to take it at random and we're going to see where we go, and I hope you'll join me. So let's jump in. So these are slightly slippy cards. This is the Universal Weight deck. So this could go absolutely haywire quite easily, and it's just going to be part of the charm of the video. So we've got strength, pets, obviously, having an opportunity to be near an animal, or have an animal come and be near you, being chosen by an animal, pet feats, and maybe being allowed to do like a little nose boop or something. That's 100% a reason to live. I'm going to go with that feeling of like a job well done, kind of when you get into bed at the end of a day of doing, I don't know, kind of like, particularly if you live quite a sedentary life, or you work an office job or something like that, then sometimes if you have a day of physical work, and obviously this is coming from a place of privilege where that's like not something that I do every day, but sometimes it can be really satisfying to do a whole other kind of work that you don't usually get to do, and to feel like you're using your body. And yeah, I'm gonna go with this and stop trying to like add disclaimers to things. The full fancy outfits. This is harking back to a previous video of where my mum tried to find me in a tarot deck and just generally pulled out the campus outfits. This person has snacks, they're going on an adventure. Absolutely reasons to stay alive. Fancy outfits, pets, snacks, flowers, mountains, sunshine. Three of Pentacles, teamwork, working together in a way that builds something that is so much greater than the sum of its parts. Again, this was in a previous video, but like, I love just being a cheerleader or being a part of a team, and I just think it's fucking great. Queen of Pentacles. Oh god, these are so blown out, I'm so sorry. Let's go the other way. Is this better? I'm doing this in the window because I want to try and be in the like semblance of sunshine. But yeah, maybe this is just going to be a really shit video. but fuck it, never mind. Okay, so the Queen of Pentacles, I feel like this is like the opposite of the Ten of Wands card. This feels like having a really cosy duvet day, not having to get up, or waking up on a weekend morning and looking at the time and realising you can go back to sleep. The moon, I mean, the moon in itself is like, I am absolutely that little girl going, "Mummy, the moon! The moon!" And I do that to anyone who will listen whenever I see the moon. So we've got, the moon is reason enough to live. Again, we've got animals, we've got the water. I'm quite a fan of eating seafood, if that's not a really terrible thing to say. Going on adventures. The sun, I am not such a fan of this card, as I'm sure many of you are not, but sunflowers and growing things and watching things grow and then watching them fade, and the whole beautiful process of getting to watch all of that. The magician, collecting art supplies, whether you use them or not. The magician is here to say, you get those extra paints. You buy that craft kit thing that you may never get around to doing, but at least you'll have the option. The Wheel of Fortune, my absolute favourite card. That everything changes, and no matter how difficult things may seem, it won't last forever. But also a reason for me to be happy is astrology. I'm a big old astrology nerd, and it's another thing that brings me great satisfaction and joy. The Lovers, my astrological card. This makes me think about when you're first getting to know someone and it feels like, it's like that line from Frozen that we finished each other's sandwiches and you could just talk to them all day and never run out of things to say. And it's like the nerves of thinking, oh, well, what if we don't like each other, or, you know, what if we get bored, or whatever, and then it actually happens and you never run out, and you probably never will run out. I remember Lennon saying about hide and seek. I'm not such a hide and seek person, but the Eight of Swords makes me think about rock pooling and finding weird little creatures and starfish and shells and watching them go about their busy little lives, and they don't know anything about us, and they're just living in their tiny little microcosms, and love that. Ten of Swords, the feeling of a good nap, so not a bad nap, not the I woke up and I can't work out if I slept for a million years or 3 minutes, either way everything hurts and nothing is correct. I mean the good nap, the nap where you probably hit one of those like circadian sweet spots and you feel refreshed, but it doesn't affect your sleep that night. And so Ten of Swords is a good nap. Ace of Pentacles, which always makes me think about wishing wells, but then also secret gardens and hedge mazes. The Queen of Cups, I always think about mini eggs, which feels very like seasonal, and I don't know if that's an international thing, but it's like the little chocolate eggs that are like, I don't know, this big, covered in a crispy, sugary shell, and they make me very happy. King of Cups, he makes me think about, I don't know, just like the feel of good fabric, so like really high quality silk or something, or clean sheets and kind of rubbing your legs against like freshly put on bedding or hotel bedding or something. King of Swords, instinct is winning an argument, which doesn't necessarily shine me in a particularly good light, but I don't mean like a proper argument, I just mean like a debate that you're having for fun, or kind of bringing someone round to your point of view. Again, these things are sort of what did I say at the beginning? Just instinct, just, you know, no notes, just vibes. So King of Swords winning an argument. Knight of Swords. That feeling of motivation where you can just jump into something with both feet, and when suddenly all of your anxiety or imposter syndrome just kind of melts away and you suddenly feel able to do something and just give something a go. 4 of Coins makes me think of... I mean, the coins always make me think of chocolate coins, but I already did mini eggs, so I feel like we can't do that now. I think Lennon said this in one of those, but in one of hers, but I don't think it was this card. But like tight hugs. From a sensory perspective, I'm not super into the like really kind of feather light touch thing, but like a really, really good hug, there are a few things that can beat it. So 2 of Wands, standing safely on tall places. I have a bit of a fear of heights. I wouldn't call it an irrational fear, because you can fall and you can hurt yourself. But standing or climbing on things and feeling safe and secure, but also getting to see a really good view, is pretty delicious. 6 of Swords. I mean, playing in water, so like fountains or rivers, and kind of getting to paddle your feet in the water or the sea. I always think in this particular image like what it would be like for one of the people in the boat to just kind of put their hand down into the water, and I think that would feel really nice. So 4 of Cups, picnics, which to me is obvious. But like, yeah, going out with friends or family or by yourself with some sandwiches, and since they started doing like cocktails in cans and stuff, or you know, some beers or water or juice or whatever, and just being out in the sun, maybe making daisy chains, and just being together and with food and in the warm. 9 of Cups makes me think about, it makes me think about buffets because of this table, and I don't remember the last time I went to a buffet. There used to be, where I used to live, there used to be a really great value Indian buffet on Monday evenings that I used to go to sometimes, and that was always a real treat. So yeah, fuck it. 9 of Cups, buffets. 6 of Coins, not something that I love, but if we take the kind of hierarchical thing out of it, then just like sharing and less food. I am inclined to fight someone if I'm asked to share food, but like having enough that you can share it is the dream. And so yeah, that's what I'm working towards. Death, also this one feels like the ultimate good nap. Or maybe death is the bad nap, the baddest of naps. What does this... adventures. Not to be too kind of Peter Pan about it, but just thinking about what's next. And I've been thinking about that a lot recently, because I've sort of had a sense that I was coming to the end of something, but at no point had I really thought about, if I'm coming to the end of something, then I must also be beginning something, and that's kind of been sneaking up on me. So in this moment, like, death feels really exciting. Not in a dark way, like metaphorical transformation, metamorphosis kind of death. I also really like the embroidery that this guy is wearing. And so yeah, arts and crafts and adventures. Ace of Cups. Again, we've got kind of like the playing with water, we've got fountains. I'm going to talk about frogs. Frogs are 100% a reason to live. Reasons to be happy. Frogs exist. Knight of Wands. Okay, so bonfires. I am a little bit scared of fireworks because of the sudden loud noise of it all. But I love the smell of bonfires, and as long as you watch out for the hedgehogs and all of that kind of stuff, I think they are wonderful. Ace of Swords feels... I'm going to go with blossom. Like, these things feel kind of like blossoms, and I saw my first cherry blossoms of the year at the weekend. So, yeah, justice. Oh, that's... Am I running out of steam, or are they genuinely being tricky? Going off, like, the green of their cape, I'm going to say, like, the feeling of really, really plush grass between your toes. Queen of Swords. Oh, she's so decisive, she's so cool, I love her. I really like her cape, which is very cloud print, which is something that was super trendy a while ago, but I never bought anything, and I'm definitely missing that from my life. I feel like once she's finished doing all of her business, this seat would be a really great place to do like cloud gazing and finding the patterns and the shapes in the clouds, and that is a good activity. Okay, the tower. So, starting fresh, like the idea of, you know, the thing, turning the calendar to January 1st, or September 1st, or, you know, a birthday, or a new month, or a new week, or a new day, and all of the little beginnings and endings that you have in a life. The tower is like wiping that slate completely clean, and I think that's absolutely intoxicating. Judgment, creepy zombie people, and big, not biblically accurate angel. I think unlearning things, I'm like oscillating wildly between like mini eggs and more kind of odd things, but like taking on new information and adjusting, and the satisfaction that that brings, where it feels like you're kind of moving closer to having a handle on something. The Empress. I mean, fresh bread, definitely. Is there a better sensory thing in the world than tearing open a fresh, crusty white loaf or bread roll or something? The Emperor. Oranges. Like, I don't often have the patience, and I've never been someone who's done the eating an orange in the shower thing. From a sensory perspective, eating oranges are difficult, but every time I've ever been somewhere like warm on holiday and had oranges, it's been like the most wonderful sensory experience. Like the smell and the taste and the texture and all of that has just been really magical. King of Pentacles. I mean, good wine. It's all those grapes. I mean, it also makes me think of like really good jam, but yeah, like really good wine and sharing that with someone that you care about. Oh, here we go. Sharing with someone you care about. Here, have a glass of wine. I think like skill swaps. So I know that would probably be more of like a Pentacles thing, but these people look like they're swapping goblets to me in this moment. Like kind of old school bartering ways of getting something new, but without having to, you know, exchange monetarily. Some of these are really wishy-washy, and I apologise. But okay, so Temperance. Okay, I'm going to go with when the weather starts to get cold and the water that comes out of the tap is like crystal clear, freezing cold. I moved to Scotland in the last couple of years, and Scottish are so proud of their water, and I will admit that I get it. I really like the water where I used to live, but it was like super, super minerally, and like messed up all the, you know, any kettles or washing machines or anything like that. And the water here does not do that, and it also tastes delicious. The King of Wands. I'm going to go with like history and kind of historical folklore, and my reason being that kind of this sort of looks like a tapestry or some artwork or something, and I think about like the history that we learn is so often from the people who were able to write things down and were able to keep records and stuff, but there are also other ways of learning about history through kind of maybe more traditionally like women's work, or the work of poor people and stuff through like tradespeople and stuff. So like being able to see a bit more, and you see it in old drawings and woodcuts and stuff, is that people have always been as weird as they are now. We're just kind of limited in the records that we have. And I love old artwork where they've kind of not really nailed the faces, or maybe they have nailed the faces and I'm just wrong, but they look really silly and funny and they make me feel better about my own artwork. The Eight of Cups, this has been my card of the month this month, and it makes me think about going on really lovely kind of stretchy leg walks. And I mean, I've already kind of talked about adventures and going to new places, but also like retreading old paths and seeing something different each time. So like particularly if you're lucky enough to be able to like walk often in nature, like being able to watch like the passing of the seasons. And so like one week it's nothing, and then the next week it's blossom, and then a month later it's berries, and then the trees, you know, the leaves start to change and then they drop their leaves and it all happens all over again. And being able to witness that is magic. Okay, so I'm not a clown person, but I really love people who can do like circus skills, and I kind of thought that maybe I would go to like, not circus school, but when I did burlesque I always wanted to do like aerial silks or aerial hoop or something, and so I really love watching people who do like pole dance or aerial silks or aerial hoops or any of those sorts of things, and I just think it's really cool. So 3 of Wands. Oh, maybe this would have been better for standing on a high place looking at the view, but I'm just going to be like the sea. For years I didn't live anywhere near the sea, after kind of growing up quite near it, but then also I was quite scared. Now I live near it again. I find it really grounding in a way, but in like the lightest way. It doesn't feel like it's weighing you down ever. It's just, yeah, I don't know, the sea. The Hierophant, the smell of incense, like Catholic Church frankincense incense in a thurible, or whatever that is. That thing is called. The Chariot, long car journeys with someone you like, and maybe something good on the radio or a podcast or a really great playlist, with the windows down. And I mean, so many of these adventures, can you tell that spring is on its way and I'm getting itchy feet? Yeah, okay, the world. We've already had starting fresh, so what does this make me think of? I mean, truthfully, it makes me think of asparagus, with this like green thing happening. What does this make me think about? We've also already had cloud spotting. We've also already had like aerial silks. I mean, maybe she's like a gymnast with the batons. The world. I'm stuck. We'll come back to this one. I love that I managed to like smash through the other ones that I was struggling with, but this one's really struggling for me. Okay, Knight of Pentacles. Saplings, my business namesake. Baby trees. Getting to see them start off really, really small, like in this guy's helmet and on the horse's forehead, and getting to see something begin to take root and grow that is going to be there for a really long time. Okay, we've got another good wine one. And yeah, I'm going to say pyjamas, like cosy, comfy clothes. I spent most of my life in pyjamas. And, you know, as much as I'm not like actually a kind of an hoodie robe person, I do love my soft and comfy clothes, and also bonus ones for Snail. I love him. And, you know, the bird with the fancy hat on. Okay, I mean, we've already had the sea, so it would be a cop-out for me to say rivers, but again, love them. What does this card make me feel grateful for? I feel grateful for castles. I live very near the ruins of an old castle, and it's where the bats live, and that makes me very happy. I mean, this feels like a really easy one to say what you feel grateful for, and obviously I feel grateful for like this kind of thing of like, you know, community and parties and stuff, but I'm going to also say that these look like peaches or nectarines or something, although they wouldn't be in season at the same time as pumpkins, but I'm going to say peaches and nectarines and kind of summer fruit. Okay, 5 of Swords. I'm just going to go with like really sturdy boots. I've had the same boots since I was 15, 16 or something, and I still wear them pretty much every time I leave the house, and they've never failed me. Okay, the 4 of Swords. No, 4 of Wands. Getting to celebrate the people you love. Whether that's in a traditional way, like, you know, going to a wedding or a christening or a bar mitzvah, or I don't know, whatever the equivalents are in other cultures and faiths and stuff. But just being able to tell someone that you're proud of them and that you're happy for them, and being able to see them be happy. Pick and mix. That's what this card always makes me think of. I know it doesn't mean that, and I probably shouldn't bring that into a reading with me, but I always think that this card looks like pick and mix, and preferably not the kind that you used to get in Woolworths that had definitely been licked by several small children, but like good pick and mix. Okay, the Knight of Cups. Oh, we just had pick and mix, so I really can't say that those fish look like gummy fish, but they do look like gummy fish. Knight of Cups. Being a romantic and leaning into it, and I used to try not to be, but now my brain loves to have a crush on someone and to feel those feelings, and even though I'm maybe not in a position where I'm able to act on them, I can still revel in that kind of rose-tinted, pink, fluffy, romantic, it is February, leave me be, in those feelings. I mean, rainbows, gays. I love my community. I wish that they would take COVID more seriously, but I love my community nonetheless. And so, yeah, rainbows and gays. 2 of Swords. Making decisions. When a decision feels easy and obvious is great, but that feels like a very kind of route one thing to see in this card. I mean, we've already had pajamas, we've already had the sea, we've already had the moon, but being able to trust your own judgment, learning how to trust your own judgment, I think is, some of these have been so light and some of them have been so heavy, but I think reasons to live is that as you get older you can maybe learn to relax a bit and just kind of trust your gut. 8 of Wands. I mean, like play fighting, which again makes me sound like I'm like 10 or whatever, but I spent a lot of my life doing kickboxing, and I sometimes feel the lack of that kind of exertion to like get sort of frustration and anger out, but in a fun and sort of like semi-productive, safe way. And so, yeah, like I'm imagining like sword fight, like play sword fighting, and you know, we're about to probably hit the 5 of Wands, and I'm going to wish that I hadn't said this now, but yeah, I'm going to go with like silly, gentle, low stakes play fighting. Oh, here we are. Great. Okay. Yeah, 7 of Wands. I'm going to go back to the history thing and be like myths and legends, because this to me kind of like in this moment looks like there are stories about giants who used to be able to straddle the sides of a river with their feet, or kind of mountains and stuff, and whether that's like the tectonic plate boundary in Iceland, or there's a story about the Cailleach in Scotland walking around the countryside finding her firewood. And yeah, I love learning those stories, so like myths and legends and folklore. Page of Wands. In one of the decks that I have, the White Newman deck, this one always looks like an explorer, which I find quite funny for a page, but So, but we've had lots of things to do with exploring. Cozy scarves, like big cuddly scarves, maybe sprayed with a spritz of your favourite perfume, or you know, the scent of someone that you love. And so like big jumpers and cuddly scarves and being all bundled up. Yeah, that's a delicious thing. Okay, Three of Swords. In this deck is a tricky one to find a positive spin on, but I think it's like learning to choose yourself and not cutting bits of yourself off to suit other people and what they need you to be all the time. Yeah, let's not dwell on that one too much. And here we go. Yeah, Five of Swords. And I'm going to say dressing up because they're all wearing funny little outfits, and yeah, they all look like they're having a silly time of it, and yeah, either playing dress up or getting dressed up to go out and do something nice, and kind of feeling like you're putting your armour on, but in like a fun way, or like you're expressing yourself, and so you like feel good about yourself. So Six of, once again, we're kind of back in the like, I'm seeing this as like hoopla, so we're back in the kind of circus fairground games thing, and like, yeah, low stakes competition, board games. Yeah, fucking board games, man. Why haven't I said that as one of them for something? Yeah, just like playing games and getting like really properly invested in them with people. Okay, fixing something, being able to take something that is broken and fix it, whether that is, in my case, resealing the bathroom, or darning some socks, or there's all sorts of things, but like getting really good at something and then being able to fix something that's broken, and like either not having to pay someone to come in and do it, or just having like the satisfaction of being able to fix something yourself, particularly if it's for somebody else. Okay, 10 of Pentacles, like chosen family. Not necessarily people that, you know, you're linked to by blood, but the people that mean the most to you and that have been there with you through thick and thin, which I know for a lot of people that's definitely not blood family, but the people who you would consider your family. Yeah, we've had saplings, and I've probably talked about watching things grow, but I'm so deeply invested in some dwarf iris bulbs that we have growing at the moment, that I'm going to talk about. Like the first spring flowers are 100% reasons to stay alive. Nine of Swords, a tricky card, one of my cards. Like getting your temperature right for going to sleep. We've already talked about pyjamas, we've already talked about good naps, we've already talked about waking up and realising you don't have to get up yet, but like in the summer or the winter or any other time of year, really sorting out like what your bed situation is. So currently I've got like 3 duvets and an extra blanket, and figuring out the configuration as we're going through the spring is like really satisfying, of like what's the optimum cozy level. Coming in from the cold in like the painful way sometimes, if you know that thing of when you've got so cold and then you go into the warm and every part of you kind of panics, but then also the way that you can kind of just like let your body relax into warmth, and like that can be an emotional thing too, you know, if you've been lonely and suddenly you don't feel lonely anymore, or if you find somewhere where you feel safe or someone that you feel safe with, then that kind of unclenching your jaw and dropping your shoulders that can happen, but also in the physical sense of it's freezing and I don't feel cold anymore. 7 of Swords. Why is this? Bringing all the shopping in from the car in one go. Even if you could or should do it in like multiple trips, managing to do it in like one go, or managing to carry more things in your hands than you thought you could, and then like not dropping it, or in my case, I've got shaky hands, so being able to like carry a tray without spilling someone else's drink or any of that kind of stuff, and like, yeah, funny little satisfaction from that. High Priestess. I mean, pomegranates is like the obvious thing. I love them, and would put them on most food. But I feel like we've had a lot of very specific foods. I've talked about pick and mix and oranges and summer fruit and things. So, I mean, like bold colours and Hawaiian shirts, and seeing particularly like old people who dress absolutely 100% from themselves and wear all kinds of wacky patterns and colours and shapes, and that makes me really happy. The devil. I mean, so much. There's so much to be said that probably shouldn't be said on YouTube. I'm going to go with costumes. I know we had like dressing up in the sense of like getting fancy, but also like fancy dress like costumes, and I like making things and doing that kind of like simple but effective costume thing. And also I dressed up as a Pokemon once, and I've never been hit on more in like a nice way. Okay, 4 of Swords. We've already had the good nap. We've already had pyjamas. We've already had so much stuff to do with sleep, because sleep is such a huge part of my life, and something that I love so much. And so I'm going to go with stained glass. I think it's really beautiful, and I like going to funny old churches and seeing that kind of stuff. And I used to do like glass painting and things, and all kind of glass art are all things that I find really beautiful. The Hermit, getting stuck in a good book. The Hanged Man, or a really good stretch, whether it's yoga, whether it's first thing in the morning, whether it's watching a cat do a really good stretch. That's just incredibly satisfying. I mean, it feels really trite, but like triumph over adversity, like getting back up and then getting shit done, and like succeeding at something that you thought you weren't going to be able to do, and winning, not in a competitive way, but just like with yourself. Yeah, surprising yourself and being able to do something that you didn't necessarily think that you could. I love him. Page of Cups. We have another fancy outfit. Chatting to animals, chatting to nature, getting an opportunity to talk to someone that you didn't necessarily think you'd get a chance to talk to. Yeah, those kinds of hitting it off with someone that you thought maybe you wouldn't get to be friends with. Whether that be a fish, whether it be a person, who cares? Page of Swords. Having moments where you feel like you're in a good film, like a nice film, and where you're like listening to music and everything feels right and proper and like it's all going to be okay. Page of Pentacles. Sunsets. I don't even think this is a sunset, but just the way that they're looking at the coin makes me think of sunsets and sunrises and all of the magical colours that make you wish that, you know, you were a better photographer or a better painter, but then you stop and you go, I'm just going to enjoy this as it is. Ace of Wands. Live comedy. I'm just seeing it as like a microphone or a mic stand or something, but yeah, live music, live comedy, getting to enjoy those things, maybe on your own, maybe with people that you love, being able to laugh together or dance together, and enjoy something. I really miss that. The Star. I mean, playing with water. I talked about this in a previous video about how, like, since I was really small, just like scooshing water from cup to cup was always a favourite activity. We've talked about folklore, so I won't mention the kind of phoenixy, griffiny type thing over there, because otherwise I would start talking about mythical beasts and creatures and stuff. A cup of tea. Let's go for the vessels and a cup of tea and a good, you know, like a pot of tea, or kind of nurturing things like houseplants, watering your houseplants but not watering them too much. The Queen of Wands, cats. Cats, I love cats. Cats are a reason to live for me. I'm very lucky that we have some really lovely neighbourhood ones, and cats and foxes and lovely creatures and lions and all sorts. And yeah, eating something that you've grown yourself. And why am I so stumped? Okay, chocolate. I'm just going to go with chocolate because the purple reminds me of a Cadbury's wrapper, and I know that Cadbury's is like big bad now, but it makes me think of Cadbury's purple, so we're going to go with chocolate. 78. Silly and serious reasons to stay alive. If you've stuck with me this far, thank you so much for making it through this odd little video. Not so little. I really appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know your weird and wonderful tarot associations, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!